Greetings, how you doing? This is Adam Rafferty, funky fingerstyle guitarist from New York City. And I've got a neat little lesson for you today on cross-string fingerings. And before we get started, if you could just hit that subscribe button, that would be super. If you're on Facebook, go like my Facebook page, because that's what life's all about. And if you hit the little bell here, you'll be notified of videos as soon as I upload them, because you might have so many subscriptions that you don't see my uploads. So I'd appreciate it if you click that little bell. So today's lesson is a really simple concept and a technique that you can use to make your playing sound more magical, more beautiful, and more lyrical. And it's actually really simple. It's just something you need to become aware of and fool around with a little bit. This is a super important part of my steel string solo playing. So let's get started. I had a student this morning who submitted his video to me over on studywithadam.com. Students can upload videos and I give personal responses. And so he had submitted a great version of the Beatles tune yesterday. He learned my arrangement and it sounded great. And I saw one spot where I thought, ooh, this could be more beautiful. And it was he played it differently from how I approach it. So it was the famous spot where the melody goes, blah, 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 the descending notes. And he played it like this. It sounded like, right? So you figure, well, that's correct, right? Yeah, it is correct, but there's a way that we can pull some sweetness out of the guitar, and that is done by getting one or more notes to ring over each other. You see, because if it's just played like this, every note is played and then cut off, and there's a little bit of silence, and then the next note's played and cut off, and, right? That's sort of how jazz guitar is played, but it doesn't really work for solo fingerstyle when something has to be lyrical. So let me show you what I do. I do the same thing, but what I try to do is keep this G note ringing while the other notes play as well. Now I'm going to do them with pull-offs as an extra insurance to not bonk the note, but listen to the different sound when the G string is ringing. Also over here, I'm going to pluck the B string with my thumb so that I don't accidentally mute the high E strings. Check this out. Can you hear how that sounds a little bit more magical? Compare that to the first version. See what I'm talking about? So all we're doing is letting one note sustain like a pad while the other notes are ringing. Now, pianists do this by having a sustain pedal, okay, where notes don't get cut off. They can hit that rightmost pedal, and there's an art into doing that effectively so that things don't sound too washy, but so they sound lyrical and notes bleed into one another. Another way we can achieve this on guitar is through the use of reverb, because really what we're doing is we're playing a note, and before it cuts off, we're starting the next note. So there's this little moment where two notes are ringing. But of course, reverb, I use reverb, but it's all over everything. So it's good to have a certain amount of this under your control on the guitar. Now I'd like to show you another technique, same idea. It's even cooler if you try to see when you play a melody if you can always go to a different string and allow it to ring. Okay, so here I played one note on the high E string and then 3 notes on the B string. Now let's look at using open strings and the 12th fret harmonics. So I'm going to use green sleeves as an example. In the key of E minor, the melody is bum 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 bum. So we're just going to do the first phrase. But what child is this who lays to rest? I'm going to stop there. I will have to fret one note, that C, but watch what we can do here. Now, if we did it just the fretted way, okay, that's the typical Guitar 101 normal way. Whoops, sorry. And some people play, and so I don't know which one of those melody variations is the right one. I think they're both right. But check this out. If I go to the 12th fret, you know, first thing I got to say is this first melody note available as an open string? And like, well, sure enough, it is. I can play that as a 12th fret harmonic. So then that's open. Then the next one. So what child? Okay, instead of pretty cool. And if you're playing on a big stage in a PA, or if you're playing for a recording such as YouTube, it's amazing how much magic that will add. And it sounds also awesome when you combine it with regular fretted notes. So watch. I could have played that A as a harmonic. There's lots of different combinations one could choose. Same idea, Ain't No Sunshine. Now I always have played it like, right? But you could go, right? So the technique is to look at every melody note you're playing and say, could it be a 12th fret harmonic? Could it be an open string? And if you want to get really fancy, you could even look at 7th fret harmonics, because they're also loud enough. I won't go into that here because that's a little bit advanced. So that's it. I hope this is a technique that you can use. I bet you can. I bet you can find at least one melody note in a song that you're doing and play it as a harmonic rather than a fretted note. I bet you can do it. Please leave a comment below if you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. And don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime if there's anything that you would like a lesson on. So God bless. Thanks so much for watching. All right. Leave a comment below.